Hey, what's good, everybody? Came for a little hike. So while I'm up here, I decided to make this video about, why I started the podcast to begin with. Let me sit over here so you guys can hear me good, because I know the river's a little, it's making a little noise. So, I guess this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while, about why I started the podcast to begin with. I don't know, earlier this year, maybe, I'm not sure exactly when, maybe I'll put it up here, I'll edit it in, but, something happened that was so crazy. Anyone that knows me knows I used to post a lot of spiritual videos. I took a huge break from that, or I took a huge step back. I kind of just was, was not feeling it anymore. And, something happened that was just so divinely orchestrated that I knew it was like, I don't know, it just caused the whole chain reaction of things that I knew it was like pushing me back towards the spiritual walk, right? And so, I was able to talk and ask permission to go ahead and share this story, because it just doesn't involve me, this story. So anyone that knows, has been following me, that knows about my brother passing away. June 6th would have been his 47th birthday. So even as I'm making this, it's crazy that I'm deciding to make it now. When in a couple days, 3 days from when I'm making this is would have been his birthday. So, what happened was I ended up working this job. It was, this acting job. I don't know what the circumstances were. Maybe I didn't feel like it and I just happened to do it. I was like, all right, fine. And so I get there and, someone pops, someone kind of jumps out at me. Anyone that knows me knows, like, I've even said it in other videos, how usually I'll find someone to talk to. Usually find someone spiritual, right, and all that. But, like, I ended up spotting someone, and they had, like, a nice hat, right? So I was like, oh, I like that hat. And, they said, like, the wardrobe department had given it to them. So I was like, oh, cool. Next thing you know, I don't know, we end up sitting next to each other. We start talking. And it just goes like that. We're supposed to be there for 12 hours. It's supposed to be a 12-hour day. So we're just, like, getting to know each other, talking. And already it's a crazy thing, right? It's like, but I didn't know this yet, right? It was like, they were from Florida, and I'm from California. So we're comparing, like, all the amusement parks, right? It's like, oh, Florida has this, California has this. I think obviously Florida one, right, has more, more amusement parks and all that crazy stuff, right? So, Florida's winning with that, so we're talking about the amusement parks, comparing that. Then, I think eventually we ease up into the spiritual stuff. And, someone even joins us. And then, so it's like 3 of us talking about spiritual stuff. But, this person mentions how, they're interested in knowing more about spiritual stuff. Like how, even like life after death kind of stuff. So I say, I mean, if you really want to know, I can help you with that, or at least tell you what I know of it, all the, like, experiences I've had. So then we separate, like, from the 3 of us, and it's just me and her talking. And I don't know, I got no clue what happens, but I open up about, my brother passing away. And so then that's when it starts getting crazy, right? It's like, everyone that knows, like, my brother, it was a suicide, right? And so they open up to me. They're like, oh, thank you for sharing that, this and that. I tell them about all the things, like super spiritual stuff that happened surrounding, like, his death afterwards. So then they open up and they're like, oh, my cousin passed away in the same way. And I was like, oh, wow, like, And I guess they were surprised that I opened up. Maybe even I was too, because, you know, they're a stranger and I just opened up about something that's always hard for me to talk about. Then, you know, like they're describing their cousin. So here's even the thing, right? Like their cousin passed away in the same way, right? You know, unfortunately, it was a suicide as well. And just the story started like going crazy. It was like 3 of us, you know, us, it was 3 men, you know, boys, whatever, 3 men. And then on her side, it was 3 women, 3 girls, you know, however you want to put it, right? And then I'm tripping out already, all these similarities. Then they end up telling me that, I was like, well, what was your cousin's birthday? And then they say it was exactly, you know, the same birthday as my brother, right? June 6th. So then it was just like, what? Like, it was crazy, you know, it was like opposites, but the same, right? It was like then it felt like something divinely put us there so we could talk about it, like my brother and her cousin. So we felt some kind of comfort, like, and it did, right? I think I got all choked up, you know, I got chills. I couldn't, like, I was like, what? Like, this is crazy, you know? So it was weird how the universe works. Like, I think their cousin had passed away maybe in November. My brother was February. Wow, there's a little hummingbird. I just came right here in the mountains. So, okay, because I was wondering, am I telling the story right? Is it too long? Maybe I should redo it. But I think the little hummingbird right here flying above the river is like, just keep going. So I'm gonna keep going. So anyways, you know, so there were opposites and likes, which was really interesting. It was like her mom was a Gemini and she's a Leo. I'm a Gemini and my dad's a Leo. Then on their side it was 3 women. On my side it was 3 men. She lived on the side that was, you know, of the United States, that's like California, but that's the East Coast California, right? Florida. And then on my side, California. You know, that's why we were even comparing, like, oh, you guys got Universal Studios and Disneyland. We got, but you know, everything on their side, I guess, is bigger or whatever. But you know, we just started talking about all this stuff, and I just thought, like, what are the chances that the universe did that, right? And that I guess her cousin and my brother put us there together. And out of all the people, like, I talked to her and I opened up to her. And that's it, really, the whole day. I didn't talk to, like, you know, really, but like her and the other guy that was like in our group, we were talking about all the spiritual stuff. So it was just, you know, an amazing story. And like I said, I was so moved that it was like an instant, like what are the chances, right? That there we are. And I know she felt it too. Like, it was like, you know, there we are, right? Like, they put us there at this moment. You know, it had been, you know, almost 3 years. I guess it had already been 3 years for her. It had been almost 3 years, or probably it had just hit the 3 years for me too, for my brother's passing. You know, I guess it brought us both comfort in knowing, you know, you're not alone, even though you know you're not alone. But just, and even when she was describing her cousin, right, how so outgoing, so happy, so this, everything, it was like how my brother was. And I think, you know, even she had those things in her head, like, could she have done something? And so did I, right? Like, all those things, all those similarities. And then even that, where it ended up that they even had the same birthday and they died the same way, you know, or passed the same way. So it was just, yeah, I don't like using the word died, passed, you know, they passed on in the same way. And so yeah, after that happened, it just completely like blew my mind spiritually. It reconnected me. I was like, you know what? Like, I guess you guys are pushing me towards this. So I went back and to see, and then I got the idea for the podcast, just random. And so I just started doing it. You know, at first it was kind of a struggle, but then, you know, I got more people and now it's just flowing. I got some more interviews coming up, and, you know, like someone even sent me a video of that orb. So just more and more things are happening for the channel. And, you know, real quick, and then I'll end it. Even like, you know, I had just gone to the sweat ceremony of a couple, like maybe a week or 2 ago. And even that, right, like, I almost didn't go, but I got like so many signs in a row that my brother wanted me to go. And even that was a whole healing experience, right? It was like, I even stopped at a store And this guy, like, they called his name and it was the same name as my brother's, and then all this stuff just started, like 7 things in a row, 6, 7 things in a row. And then they invited me to the ceremony that was supposed to be in the city my brother was working in when he passed away. And it wasn't. It was a whole hour away. So even that, just the fact that that person, I was like, why did you tell me? They're like, I don't know. And then I told them, because they understand, you know, the spiritual, obviously we're going to ceremony. And they were like, wow. They were mind blown, you know, when I told them all the signs, like, and they were like, wow. So then, you know, I went. So all these things happen. But that's the reason I started the podcast, you know, just to cut it right there. That's the reason I started the podcast. It was basically that one event, you know, meeting this one person. It may seem insignificant, like that one person could change the trajectory of which way you're heading. But at that moment, that meant everything to me, right? Like, it moved me so much that it threw me back into the spiritual. I wasn't in the mood anymore, and just meeting one person could alter your life, right? And at that moment, that just completely like threw me back into the spiritual walk. So you know, it was a blessing to meet this person. I know, you know, her cousin and my brother, I felt like they orchestrated it along with the universe to put us there at that moment and have all those similarities that would reach me in that way. So yeah, that's it. That's the reason I started the podcast. So hopefully, you know, I'll keep this going. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you guys will interact more with me as it goes on, and we'll just keep it going, right? So people don't feel like they're alone, and they know in the spiritual walk that there's a lot of us that go through the same thing, probably a lot more than really speak up about it. So you know, with that said, thank you. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Peace. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I want to feel this way forever.